His van's engine began to sputter and stall. Lopez then noticed 100 feet ahead there were five small figures on the side of the road. At first Lopez thought that they were children. He then noticed the strange clothes they were wearing. They had silver one-piece outfits and wore helmets similar to football helmets. Their faces could be seen through the open fronts of the helmets. The faces were not of children, but of adults. They started approaching the stalled van. Lopez understandably started getting unnerved by the beings approaching his vehicle, and he started to race the engine in neutral. The beings scattered at the loud sound of the van's engine, and Ruben Lopez was able to continue on his journey with no further incidents. The zone of silence also holds ancient ruins of an astronomical observatory. Scientists have been unable to date the time of its construction and are not certain of the culture that would have created it. Like Stonehenge, these ruins stand testament to the unknown and of the past of the zone of silence. It's been said that man's final frontier is not outer space, but our own oceans. Very little of the world's oceans have been explored. That is, what lies beneath the waves. 70% of the earth is covered with water. This water created a natural barrier to man exploring it until the advent of submarines, scuba gear, and sonar. Stories of Atlantis falling into the ocean have driven those searching for its existence to scour the sea in hopes of finding some trace of it. Some search these seas for sunken treasure of the recent past, and some go to the seas for its natural beauty and soothing sands. There are many reasons people have come to the seas, and on some of these occasions people have found some amazing discoveries. In 1970, Dr. Ray Brown was scuba diving near the Bari Islands with a group of friends. They were searching for lost Spanish treasure around a drop in the sea floor called the tongue of the ocean. A recent storm had stirred up the sandy bottom, and Dr. Brown and his companions were hoping it had uncovered traces of Spanish galleons. As Dr. Brown searched the ocean floor, he became separated from his group. While attempting to catch up, he noticed a pyramid structure below him. Dr. Brown stated that they found ruins and buildings everywhere, and that they had an Egyptian or classical look about them. He estimated the ruins were resting 22 fathoms down, and the pyramid structure rose to 120 feet, although parts of it were covered by sand. The capstone of the pyramid was colored blue and resembled lapis lazuli. The pyramid had an entrance which Dr. Brown swam into. He found himself in a small rectangular room with a pyramid-shaped ceiling. Somehow the inside of the pyramid had sufficient light to see, as well as the walls having no algae or coral attached to them. The top of the ceiling had a metallic rod 3 inches in diameter. On the rod it held a red, multifaceted gem. Below this, on the floor, was a carved stone topped by a stone plate which had two metal bronze hands upon it. Within these hands was a crystal sphere. Dr. Brown would take the crystal. After attempts of dislodging the gem on the rod had failed. When he left the pyramid, he heard a voice telling him never to return. The other 4 divers that were in the area also heard the voice say, "You have got what you came for, now leave and don't come back." Dr. Brown waited 5 years before going public with his find. He was concerned that authorities in the U.S. or Bahamas would confiscate the crystal sphere. The crystal exhibited unique characteristics. When positioned correctly, 3 pyramid-shaped objects appear in the center of the crystal. Also, when positioned correctly, a single eye shape can be seen. When a compass is placed next to the crystal, its needle starts turning clockwise. The crystal also has the ability to repel metal objects, as shown on an episode of In Search of, where he gives his account of finding this crystal. He also gave an interview to Charles Berlitz, the author of several books on the Bermuda Triangle. Brown's account would be mentioned in Berlitz's 1984 book, Atlantis, the Eighth Continent. Dr. Brown would only display the crystal less than 10 times in the nearly 10 years he went public with the story. Ray Brown would pass away in the early 90s, leaving behind the crystal sphere and a fascinating but unbelievable story. In the many years after his account, no corroborating evidence has ever surfaced, other than the remarkable crystal and Ray Brown's own words. None of the other witnesses have ever come forward. It's been said that the four other divers that were with Dr. Brown attempted to go back to the underwater ruins and drowned. The crystal sphere now resides with Arthur Fanning, a resident of Sedona, Arizona. The crystal is now called by some the Atlantis Orb, and its new owner has named it the Eye of God. The authenticity of Raybound's story is uncertain, though what isn't uncertain is the fact that sunken underwater cities do exist. From more recent to ancient times, earthquakes and natural disasters have put cities beneath the waves. The discovery of a city with pyramids off the coast of Cuba in May of 2001 may give some credence to Dr. Brown's story. 2,200 feet down in the waters off the west coast of Cuba lies a sprawling city complex, complete with pyramids. The president of the Canadian-based company that found the site, Paulina Zaletsky, stated that the city's ruins are pre-classical and belong to a civilization that was similar to the Tiahuanacan culture. Ms. Zaletsky's company, Advanced Digital Communications, had been searching the waters off Cuba for lost ships and sunken treasure. Hundreds of Spanish galleons had sunk in Cuban waters since the time of the conquistadors. As technology advances and becomes available to those willing to explore the oceans and of the world, we may yet find many more surprises lying beneath the waves. Unfortunately, like so many great discoveries that have gone on before, no real follow-up has ever been done that we know of to this site. Whether this lack of research is due to lack of funds or lack of will is uncertain. We can only hope that at some point someone will be able to go back and document and do a significant study of the city underneath the waters of Cuba. Thank you for your interest in this show, and may God bless and keep you.
The Revelation 13 podcast is hosted by Mike Hopwood and is a podcast dedicated to the study of end-time events, news events, and ancient mysteries.